Hello, my name is Dean Sahutsky, and this is a Detroit JazzStage special announcement. Hello and welcome to this Detroit JazzStage announcement. We're happy to announce an addition to our ensemble, Mr. Jim Gallert.
Jim Gallert's a veteran jazz broadcaster, researcher, and writer. He's chalked up 25 years of radio experience as producer and co-host of Jazz Yesterday and Detroit Jazz Alive on our local NPR station, WDET-FM. Gallert has participated in all 26 Detroit Jazz Festivals as staff writer, emcee, or host of Meet the Artist sessions.
As a writer, Jim has authored numerous biographies of Detroit jazz musicians, including Ray McKinney, Alma Smith, Todd Rhodes, George Benson, and Willie Anderson. His biographies have appeared in Detroit and national publications and have been used as CD liner notes. Much of his research, many photographs from his extensive collection, and some of his writings were included in Before Motown, A History of Jazz in Detroit, 1920 through 1960, by Lars Bjorn with Jim Gallert. Jim and Lars give talks around town on Detroit's jazz history.
Gallert and Bjorn are currently compiling material for a 2-CD set of rare and unissued Detroit jazz that Uptown Records will issue this year. The set will include extensive annotation and newly unearthed photographs of Detroit jazz legends.
And we're going to have a link to Before Motown, A History of Jazz in Detroit, 1920 through 1960, available at the jazzstage.us website. So go to jazzstage.us and you'll find that link. Jim joined us for an interview with jazz head band leader John Douglas, trumpeter. John himself, he has quite an extensive history forming jazz head in 1996. Some of his accolades include the Machito Orchestra, which he performed with at Cheyne Park, Los Muñequitos de Matanza at the Montreux Detroit Jazz Festival, Verve Pipe at Pontiac's Phoenix Center and Pine Knob, and Francisco Mora Marshall and Carl Craig at the 2003 North Sea Jazz Festival in Holland. In March of 2004, he performed at the Bern Jazz Festival in Switzerland with blues diva Betty Lavette. In June of 2004, he performed at the Import Music Festival and the Paradisco in Holland with Theo Parrish in the Rotating Assembly. So we're gonna have a really good interview, I think, and something to look forward to.
Next, we're going to have Jim Gallert's wonderful interviewing skills as he asks John Douglas a question. And we're going to follow that with a recording called Hailstorm. It was recorded on an album called Ancestor from 2001.
What did you think about when you heard some of the older guys like Louis Armstrong, and then comparing them with the way, say, Miles and his group sounded on Tutu? I mean, did any of the older stuff speak to you in the same way? I mean, did you feel like a connection with it?
I definitely felt an affinity to it. Well, I mean, because of the phrasing and the power of it. Just from listening to Louis Armstrong, I just thought that I could play it, But when I actually started trying to play that stuff, I realized how physical of a physical specimen Louis Armstrong must have been in order to play and sustain and project like that. I mean, that's some very difficult, demanding trumpet playing that he was doing.
Well, at that time, they almost had to. I mean, they didn't have any, form of amplification.
Right.
So I heard stories that you could hear Louis coming down the Mississippi before you'd actually hear the boat. I mean, that's how loud the guy blew.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, there's some powerful trumpet players out of New Orleans.
Right.
That's a fact.
And the Miles thing was just slicker, more laid back, more modern. So I liked them both. They weren't. I didn't look at either one as excluding the other.
You saw them.
I could like elements of all of it and include it in my learning and listening processes.